What's up, Black Knight Nation? I am John Sheps, aka Coach Sheps, and I am here with the Armory, episode number 1. This year, over at the CFB Nation, I will be covering West Point, Black Knight, Army football, and I am super excited. I was already able to get to a practice on Tuesday. I'm heading out to a practice. So this is Monday. The show's going to release Tuesday or Wednesday, so I will have another practice under my belt. And then Friday, I'm heading up to the spring game, and I'm super excited. I am very excited. Being at practice was awesome, and it's such a beautiful setting up there, and it's a great place for football. So I'm going to recap some things today. I'm going to talk about some things I saw in practice. I'm going to talk about some things I'm excited to see play out over the spring season and over the summer, and going to lead up to what should be a fun season, but tough. I believe what is the strength of schedule right now? I think Army is 24th in the country. So they're going to have a tough schedule ahead of them, but it's they got a lot of work to do, and I'm excited to watch them do it. So again, this is part of the CFB Nation. So go check out CFB Nation on the Twitter. It's at the CFB Nation. You can find me on Twitter at Coach Sheps, and you can find my other shows and my other content at Toilets to Titles and toilets2titles.com. There's also a CFB Nation tab underneath toilets2titles.com where you could find every piece of college content you could think of. We got guys over at covering Boston College, covering Virginia Tech, covering Georgia Tech. So I know you're here for Army, but if by any chance you're interested in any of the other stuff, you can find that over there. We got fantasy football content, IDP content, rookie draft content. We just published over 110 rookie profiles. We're still working, and man, we're just having fun over there. So I appreciate your support, but let's get to it. Let's get to some Army football. So like I said, the spring game is this Friday at 7 p.m. I will be out there, but what I'm looking forward to this offseason, the first thing I'm looking forward to, Bryson Daly, Alex Meredith, and Cameron Jones, the quarterbacks out there, and Bryson Daly, number 13. He's a junior, and what I saw from him, very solid passer, very poised. I loved his red zone work at practice on Tuesday. It didn't seem like he got ahead of himself. He worked through his progressions. He found his wide receivers. And when the time was right, he wasn't afraid to pull the trigger. And I think that is going to be a strong suit for him. And right now he seems to be the leader in the clubhouse. Meredith, he's a senior, number 17. He led the inside run period. He's a little thinner, a little more sleek than Daly. He's got a quick trigger when it's coming to running. He sees the creases. He hits them. He's pretty tough. He's, like I said, he's a little leaner, a little slimmer, but it didn't seem to bother him at all. This dude was not afraid to get inside. So very strong runner. And then Jones, he's the sophomore, number 10. And this guy, I think he's the wild card because he can do a little bit of both. He's young, so there's room for development, but that's the coach's job. And I'm sure he's showing up to work and he's ready to get it done. But he has some zip. Like the passes he throws fly off his fingertips. And it was exciting to watch. He's not afraid to air it out. So for me, even though I think Daly's the leader in the clubhouse, I'm actually looking forward to watching Jones in the spring game because he's got nothing to lose. He's younger than these two guys. So hopefully he airs it out, and hopefully he has some fun in this new shotgun offense. And now the running back competition, I know running backs usually lead this offense. The option game usually leads this offense. And unfortunately, Tyrell Robinson, he's recovering from an ACL injury. The buzz is that he should be back by the start of the season. Uncertain how much of a workload he will have at the start of the season, but who is going to step up in his absence? Per Coach Thatcher, I listened to another podcast a few weeks ago, and they were kind of talking about who's going to step up, and they mentioned Miles Stewart as somebody who looked very natural in the new zone rushing attack. But what I saw at practice, I saw Jarrell Dixon. He's a junior, number 40. He looked great in the screen period. He looks like he's floating out there. He's a very good runner, very fluid runner. When he seed the crease in the screen game, he hit it. Decisive, quick, explosive, and those are all traits that you need, especially if you're in the screen. So I liked him, Jarrell Dixon. Dakota Wagner. So I mentioned you're going to see, I don't know if this is a theme. I like the young guys. I like the sophomores. Dakota Wagner is a guy I have my eyes on. He sophomore, number 44. He's built like a brick house. Very good frame. He looks like somebody who could take he could take a beating running down inside. He looks every bit the part, big, physical. He's got some juice. I don't know where he stands on the depth chart, but I'm going to be watching him. I got my eyes on him. I'm interested to seeing him at the spring game. And then Noah Short, he's a sophomore, number 23. He's more of a slim tweener, wing type, slot back. I saw them putting him in a lot of motion. I know he's the thinner guy. He's definitely got some burst. He's definitely got some explosion, and he looked a little scrappy. Like he's not afraid to mix it up with those bigger defenders. And you always love having guys like that on your squad. So Noah Short is somebody I'm going to be looking out in the backfield. And then, I'll be keeping an eye on Tyrell Robinson and seeing when he's going to be able to get back into some action. But we're talking offense here. So how is the pass to run ratio going to look in the new shotgun offense under Coach Thatcher? If you're not familiar with new offensive coordinator Coach Thatcher, he comes from D2 University of Nebraska-Kearney. Last year when he was there, they had an 8-3 record, averaged 33 points and 402 yards per game. They scored on 80% of the time they reached the red zone, and they converted an 11 of 14 fourth down. So that's very prolific. He's coming with some prolific numbers. It's a big step going from D2 to D1. And Army's a team, they ran a lot of option. Now they're going to shotgun. So the centers, they got to adjust. It goes from having a quarterback run underneath them. Now they got to snap in the shotgun. So I'm interested to see how the centers adjust the shotgun snaps and how many fumbles there are in the spring game. It's early, so I believe they'll all be able to get it. But it's definitely a little bit of a transition. When I was watching practice, the offense still seemed to revolve around option and deception. Even though it was in the shotgun, there was definitely a lot of deception, misdirection, and a lot of options. So I don't think they're going to get too far away from that, but I think it'd be exciting to see them air out a little bit. Speaking of exciting, play of the day last Tuesday, there was a Hail Mary during 11v11, and they have the sticks out, and they have, I believe it was fourth down, and they just chucked it. It was from Daly to Casey Reynolds. He's a junior. He's number 87. And the Casey Reynolds was like in between three defenders. It was on like the 3 or 4 yard line. So he was close to the end zone, didn't get in, but he jumped up and high pointed it and came down, and the offense went bananas. So that was very exciting. Now, as far as wide receivers go, Isaiah Alston, Jr., number 11, he's 6'4", 195 pounds, man. He's another guy who looks every bit the part. It's hard to miss him. He stands out in the field. He's a field stretcher, and I'm excited to see how he develops in this passing attack, because a lot more is going to be asked of these wide receivers. And this is my assumption. I'm not certain how this offense is going to play out. I'm not certain how they're going to, what the pass to run ratio is going to be, how many targets he's going to see. But I'm assuming in a shotgun offense with a new coordinator, we will see some more throws. He will see some more targets. So I'm interested to see how he develops. He's definitely got the field stretcher frame. But another player I liked is, I apologize if I mispronounce the name. I'm going to try to get all these names down. But it's Vesh Danian, senior, number 82. He looked great. Like, his body control for a route runner is very good. And him and Daly had a very good connection in the red zone. He had like a comeback towards the pylon. Daly was rolling out to the right side. The DB, it looked like a vertical to the back corner. The DB was in his pocket, and then he just stopped in his tracks, came back. DB was still going towards the back of the end zone. And then Vesh attacked the pylon. Daly saw him as he was rolling out. Boom, like right there. So I think there are two talented options, and I'm sure there's others I'm going to see as I watch the spring games. And again, I'm heading to another practice today. But those two wide receivers, they stuck out to me. Now, as far as defense goes, I'm just going to tell you this. During the 11v11 segment, the defensive line, the linebackers, they did very, very well. They got to the quarterback numerous times. I didn't jot down how many times they got there, but they got there a lot. They almost dominated that practice. Andre Carter's gone. He's moving on, and that it was an alpha defensive line edge rusher for this team, and somebody's going to step up. I'm not sure who is going to step up, but as a collective unit, they all seem to step up. They had their way with this, with this new offense, which there's some adjustments to the blocking scheme. So I would expect the defense to be ahead of the offense. So I'm not down on the offense, but I'd also be concerned if the defense wasn't ahead of the offense, if that makes sense. Now, who's going to step up an inside linebacker next to Leo Lowen? He's a senior, number 31, big, posing, physical leader. He had a great practice. Now, who's going to step up as the other inside linebacker? And now I coached defensive backs. I coach wide receivers. I play defensive backs. So my favorite position on the field, you're going to get to hear. And when I scout for my rookie profiles, and that's player profiles over at toiletstitles.com, I very much enjoy scouting DBs. And there are two very good DBs on this Army team. Jabari Moore, number 4, and Bo Nicholas Paul, number 2. Jabari Moore was lined up on the other side of the field a lot when I was watching the 11 on 11, and he was on the left side a lot, and Bo Nicholas Paul was on the right side a lot. He was a little closer to me, and I was keeping my eyes on him. And what I was impressed with Bo Nicholas Paul is he wasn't afraid to get in your face. He's a jam corner. He wasn't lunging, and he was very good at mirroring the wide receivers off the snap and in their route. And he had very good eye discipline. He didn't peek when he wasn't supposed to peek. He had his eyes locked on the receiver's hips wherever they were moving. Like it was very sticky coverage. Very impressed with Bo Nicholas Paul. And Jabari Moore, obviously, he's a stud defensive back. I'm looking forward to watching him more so through the spring season and throughout the training camp. Well, whatever Army calls their off-season program after the spring season. But I'm also looking forward to the spring game this Friday night and then the summer, man, and watching some Army football up here in the Hudson Valley. So I appreciate everybody who checked this out. This is the Armory. This is episode number 1. I'm going to be covering Army football all off season, all in season. I will be on site. I'll be at practices. I'm going to have some player interviews, coach interviews, so all that good stuff. So hit the subscribe button. If you like the show, like, comment, all that good stuff, and stay with me. And if there's any topic you're interested in, I'm on Twitter at Coach Sheps, or you can even just comment here and we'll get discussed. I'm also looking to get some Army fans on here, some people who've been watching Army football for a long time, maybe some season ticket holders. If you are one of those, reach out to me as well. You can comment or hit me up on Twitter, and I'd love to get you on and pick your brain and see what you're thinking about for this season. So again, I appreciate it. Those who follow, I'm looking forward to a great season. I'm looking forward to a great spring game, and go Army.